Every day on this channel, I go through everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And here's how many times Elon posted about each subject today. I'll go through everything he said about each subject before moving on to the next one. And starting with Charlie Kirk, Elon quoted Phil Mickelson, who said the assassination of Kirk is bringing out some of the best in humanity and it's also exposing some of the worst. The unification, love, support, and outcry on his behalf throughout the world is heartwarming. The number of people supporting Tyler Robinson's appalling behavior has opened my eyes to the side of extremism with a moral superiority complex that has also shaken my belief in people in general. I hope they are held accountable for their disgusting rhetoric. And Elon said they will be held accountable. But what Phil was quoting was this video from the Oxford Union's new president calling the right cancers that must be taken out by any necessary means. There's a lot more on the story today. I know we've already looked at it in previous days, but I'm going to play it again.
To effectively create change in the world we desire. And Side Prop will argue that at times there is simply nothing else that can be required other than violent retaliation. And this is a view I wholeheartedly agree with. The view that some institutions are too broken, too aggressive, too oppressive to be reformed. Like cancers of our society, they must and they should be taken down by any means necessary.
And so today the Oxford Union wrote a letter claiming the criticism of President-elect George Aberranier for celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder is driven by racism. Basil the Great asks, why are they doing this? The Oxford Union has already issued a statement condemning the President-elect's inappropriate remarks, and we emphasize that these are his personal views and not those of the Union, nor do they represent the values of our institution. At the same time, we are deeply disturbed by and strongly condemn the racial abuse and threats that the President-elect has faced in response. No individual should ever be attacked because of the color of their skin or the community they come from. Threats to his life are abhorrent. Such rhetoric has no place online or anywhere in society. So Gad Saad quotes this sarcastically, saying, yes, the problem with celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder is that the one celebrating was black. Oxford Union, I'm proud of your commitment to ensure that people should not be callously permitted to criticize a black man for being gleeful about the assassination of a white man. Thank you, Oxford Union, for your commitment to erase all standards of merit, civility, and decency. And Elon reposted it. And then the Oxford Union invited James Altucher to debate and speak there. James says it was the most prestigious debate society in the world, but I'm saying no. A debate society should be run by people who want to further understanding and peace by discourse, not people who are hateful and celebrate death. Elon said exactly. And Megyn Kelly said, Oxford, you are sick. It's absolutely revolting, and Elon reposted it. And Ted Cruz says some deranged bastard put this graffiti on the side of a highway in Houston. They're now painting over it, and Elon replies with the American flag. Peachy Keenan says, when I worked at Disney, the family-friendly movie studio, I endured daily conversations where my coworkers would discuss how they hoped Donald Trump died soon, how dumb and evil conservatives were, how Donald Trump was an actual Russian spy who needed to be arrested, and if they ever met a Trump voter, they would punch them in the face. And there I was walking to Starbucks with them or eating lunch in the commissary or in a meeting. This, by the way, is still the norm. Years later, at nearly every large corporation in the world, all my friends and family who work at these places live in abject terror, even now, that they will be exposed as right-wing people. Why is this okay? How have we just accepted this as how corporate America has to operate? If people at companies are getting fired for being happy Charlie's dead, does that mean closet conservatives can finally be themselves at the office? Elon replied, not anymore. And FBI Director Kash Patel says Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin lived with transgender partner who is now cooperating with the FBI. And Elon reposted this. And Kaizen says fascist, racist, hate speech. Words so overused they've lost meaning. They are used to force silence and justify violence. And it got Charlie killed. And Elon reposted it. And JD Vance just went off on people who are calling for unity with radical leftists.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
So Elon quoted that and said, "Unity is impossible with evil fanatics who celebrate murder." And Elon posted a clip titled, "Charlie Kirk takes down anti-gay extremist."
Hey, Mr. Kirk, thanks for coming out tonight. I got a question for you real quick. Up until about 5 years ago when gay marriage was legalized nationwide, the conservative movement has been explicitly pro-traditional family. Now, both you and your organization advocate for the acceptance of anti-Christian, immoral lifestyles like homosexuality and transsexuality, going as far to invite drag queens like Lady MAGA to your events. It seems to me and anyone who's paying attention that conservatives just believe whatever liberals believed 5 years ago. Right now, there's a push by the left to normalize pedophilia by way of child drag queen shows and... Oh, excuse me. Phone shut off.
Go back to your notes. That's probably where you saved it. You know, you got to like push double tap and then go over.
Right now, there is a push by the left to normalize pedophilia by way of child drag queen shows and rebranding pedophiles as minor attracted persons. 5 years from now, will you be promoting child drag queen shows? Will child abuse become part of the conservative platform?
Boy, that's a slippery slope fallacy if I've ever seen one. First of all, I've never invited a drag queen to come to any Turning Point USA event. I was at Politicon, and an individual by the name of Lady MAGA came up, and I took a picture, and she walked away. Secondly, let me ask you a question. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir.
So are you a proud Trump supporter?
Of course.
So are you sickened that he had a gay man speak at his convention?
Yes.
Then you're not a Trump supporter, my friend. Thank you very much. Let me ask you another question. Should he return the money of Peter Thiel, an openly gay man who supports his campaign?
No, if it helps him strategically,
okay.
Sure, he can.
Should he stop talking to Tammy Bruce, who's an open lesbian that's a Fox News contributor?
If it's affecting his ideas, then probably, yeah.
Okay, so you say you're a Trump supporter, yet you have all these issues and these disagreements with him. Let me be very clear about my position. My personal position. I'm a Christian first and foremost, then an American, then a constitutionalist, then a conservative, in that order. I believe marriage, biblically, if we want to have a biblical and theological discussion, as articulated in the greatest book ever to exist in the history of the world, the Holy Bible. Marriage in the Holy Bible is one man, one woman. I also do not believe in the sort of rhetoric that some people engage in, that all of a sudden that they say there's no place for gay people in the conservative movement. I do not believe that.
That's not conservative.
And let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question then?
Sure, go for it.
So, the American family, liberty, freedom, the Constitution, our history, veterans, that's what we're conserving. I'll get to you later, though, don't worry. So let me ask you a question. If you had your way, what would you do with gay people in America?
What would I do with them? I wouldn't.
Yeah, because they're not allowed in the conservative movement. So would you just kick them out anytime they show up at a Republican Party? If you were in charge, like what would you say? You can't be part of the Republican Party.
If somebody is advocating for being openly homosexual, yeah, they should not be part of the conservative movement.
So I just want to go through the list. Guy Benson, no place in the conservative movement. Dave Rubin, no place in the conservative movement. Peter Thiel, no place in the conservative movement. So that just to go down the list.
If they are supporting open homosexuality.
So
yeah, no.
I'm going to ask a very respectful question, as respectfully as I can. What does what they do in their private life concern you so much that you have to go up in front of a crowd? And
it is against God. That is
so.
Why.
Let me ask you a question.
Are you a Christian or not?
Do we live in a theocracy? Yes or no? No. Do we live in a theocracy?
You said you're a Christian.
I am a Christian. And do you know what? And guess what? I will say this. Part of being a Christian is appropriately interpreting what the theological says for the individual, but also means to be long-suffering and patient and loving and kind. Jesus Christ talked to all people. Jesus Christ went and did his ministry through Judea and Samaria, and he had dinner with tax collectors, and he had dinner with prostitutes, and he did his ministry in every part of the Mediterranean. What it means to be a Christian, my friend, is to be open-minded but firm in your beliefs, so you can have that belief. But if you say there's something inherently wrong with communicating or associating just because they make different personal decisions than you, sir, are not a conservative. Thanks for being here tonight.
So Elon then quoted that clip and said all he wanted was reasonable debate, but still the radical left celebrated the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk. Matt Van Swol says, I have come to the horrifying realization that we are at a morality crossroads in the country, where one side believes that murder for hate speech is morally good and canceling someone for celebrating murder is evil, and the other side believes life is sacred, speech must be free, and celebrating bloodshed is true evil. If we can't agree that murder is wrong, we're not debating politics anymore, we're debating whether civilization itself survives at all. A society that flips good and evil like this cannot stand for long. And Elon quoted that in agreement. Kaizen says, realizing how much distortion there was of Charlie Kirk's message is red-pilling me all over again. And Elon says, it's so messed up. Congressman Randy Fine says those celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk must be thrown out of civil society. If you're aware of anyone in the 6th District of Florida, or heck anywhere in the state, who works at any level of government, works for an entity that gets money from government, or holds a professional license like a lawyer or a medical professional or a teacher, that is publicly celebrating the violence, please contact my office. I will demand their firing, defunding, and license revocation. If you don't think I am serious, I got 2 state university board chairmen fired for less. These monsters want a fight? Congratulations, they got one. And Elon quotes that saying, 100. And Borussia Dortmund, the football team in Germany, is starting an internal process against its devout Christian player Felix Amicha for having expressed sympathy on his social media accounts to Charlie Kirk's family and writing that celebrating someone's murder is truly evil. What he said on Instagram was, may the Lord be with the Kirk family with special grace during this time. Jesus is the true way to peace and love. He said Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Celebrating the murder of a double father, a husband and a man who peacefully stood for his convictions and values is truly evil and shows how much we need Christ. May God have mercy and open our eyes and hearts in Jesus' name. The responsible figures at Borussia Dortmund, including the CEO Aki Watzke, are set to represent the German Football Association at the World Cup in the USA, and German conservatives are calling for Donald Trump not to let them into the country if they continue to persecute Felix Amicha for writing condolences to the family of a fellow Christian who was murdered for his political and Christian beliefs. Elon said, shame on this football team. And Jim Halpert has a teaching moment. If your side is celebrating an assassination, your side committed the assassination. Elon says, exactly. And Alex has a chart that we've all been waiting for. What do you notice about this? It shows politically motivated killers and their victims by domestic partisan ideology. And it shows right-wing murders being more frequent than left-wing murders by a lot. Wilfred quotes it saying, I noticed first that 9/11 and all Black Lives Matters and LA riot deaths are left off, which gives me some questions. Elon said, yeah, that chart is utter bullshit. And Elon posted a video of Matt Walsh.
There is a fundamental difference between the cancel culture that the left engages in and the quote-unquote canceling that the right is doing in the wake of Charlie's assassination and the left's celebration of it. The difference is that the left will cancel you for saying objectively true, good, and normal things. To the extent that the right cancels you, it'll be for saying objectively abhorrent, perverse, and sick things. And this distinction matters. As I've said for years, the problem with the left's attack on speech is not just that they're attacking speech, but that they're attacking true and right speech. They want you to be fired for saying, for example, that men can't have babies and women don't have penises. The problem isn't simply that they're trying to get you fired for saying something. It's that they're trying to get you fired for saying the most basic and true things that it's possible for a person to say. The left's war on speech is not a war just on speech, it's a war on truth. They want to punish truth. And that will always be worse. Obviously, significantly worse.
And you can see Matt Walsh has a lot more to say on this, but we've got to keep it moving. And Elon posted this photo that suggests it all starts with teachers saying, they're all Nazis. Then they see it on TV, they're all Nazis. Then they see it at a concert, they're all Nazis. And now they're holding a sniper rifle saying, they're all Nazis. And today, Bowdoin College in Maine canceled a Charlie Kirk vigil, telling all students and staff it has received credible info on a threat from the state police. Will Chamberlain says the biggest tell that the left are the baddies is that we can't even hold a vigil for a prominent conservative commentator without people stomping on the flowers or calling in bomb threats. And Elon said, bullseye. And Paul Watson says they kicked Parler off the Apple Store for about 0.1% of the extremist vitriol which now pervades Blue Sky and Reddit. And Elon said, true. Lauren says instead of cross-sex hormones, why don't we give trans people same-sex hormones? If a male feels like a woman, why not give him testosterone, not estrogen? It's a genuine question. Making a man feel more like a man seems more logical than making him into an imitation of a woman. And Elon said it should at least be offered. Kangmin says the average leftist will kill you, dance on your grave, then slander your grieving wife. This is more than just politics now, and Elon says yes. Oilfield Rando says getting them fired isn't good enough. Companies must force the remaining liberal employees to complete training courses on why they need to be respectful of Christians and conservatives. That's how it works, right? And Elon says that's what they did. And we saw this yesterday where Elon responded to this post about how the Tokyo governor plans to import thousands of immigrants from Egypt. And Tokyo is already the largest city in the world and there's no labor shortage. So why import thousands of immigrants and why are you visiting George Soros' house so often? So Elon had said mass immigration to Japan will destroy Japan. And this Japanese person said Elon knows what George Soros did to America and Europe. This is a very important wake-up call. And Elon said Soros' crimes against humanity are many and manifold. And he responds to this clip.
President Trump, who's won a pair of lawsuits against the 3 broadcast networks, is now escalating his battle against 2 of them. ABC and NBC fake news, 2 of the worst and most biased networks in history, give me 97% bad stories. If that's the case, they are simply an arm of the Democrat Party and should, according to many, have their licenses revoked by the FCC. I would be totally in favor of that because they are so biased and untruthful, an actual threat to our democracy.
Elon replied saying, it's true. Data Republican says flashback. The left tried to kill my husband. They published the address of his distillery on a site plastered with a Molotov cocktail cursor. Before that, he had never once shared a public political opinion. He wasn't that kind of man. They targeted him for one reason only, because of me. And Elon reposted it. And Hassan Piker is the left's top streamer, and he apparently encourages a lot of violence on his Twitch streams.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
And Solianath says since Hassan wants to claim that the clip in which he told his hundreds of thousands of Twitch followers to go murder people was out of context, I just wanted to remind everyone that Hassan called for the assassination of Tom Cotton to his roughly 1 million followers. He quoted Tom Cotton with a picture of a gun, and Tom Cotton said below this, I encourage people who get stuck behind the pro-Hamas mobs blocking traffic, take matters into your own hands to get them out of the way. So Elon quoted that saying, paging Jeff Bezos, as Amazon owns Twitch. So I guess Elon wants to know why this is being put up with. And report that a Black Lives Matter activist, Monica Cannon Grant, has pleaded guilty to 27 counts of fraud. Elon said, wow. And a police whistleblower exposes everything. London grooming gangs are everywhere. Sadiq Khan knows the police and government are deliberately covering it up. They all need to be arrested. And Elon reposted it. And Ed Davey has written to Keir Starmer, Kemi Badenoch, and Nigel Farage, urging them to join me in condemning Elon Musk's dangerous remarks inciting violence yesterday. As leaders, we must stand together and make clear Musk will face serious consequences for these actions. He said, Dear Prime Minister, the attempts this weekend by Elon Musk to sow discord and incite violence on our streets represent a serious and dangerous interference in our democracy. Speaking at the Unite the Kingdom march organized by far-right hate preacher Tommy Robinson, Musk told the crowd that violence is coming and that you either fight back or you die. The United Kingdom has always prided itself on resolving disagreements through debate, through the ballot box, and through the rule of law. The recent conduct of Elon, deliberately spreading misinformation, stoking anger, and encouraging violence, represents a reckless and dangerous assault on those values. This attempt to endanger public safety and meddle in our politics must be met with clarity and resolve. At times like this, it is vital that the people of our country see their leaders united. That is why I am writing to urge each of you to put party politics aside and join me in publicly condemning these dangerous remarks and to jointly consider what sanctions Elon should face as a consequence. We must make clear that no individual, however wealthy or powerful, can get away with using their platform to inflame tensions and incite violence. At the same time, we must uphold freedom of speech and the right to peaceful protest without fear of violence, intimidation, or manipulation from abroad. The strength of Britain lies in our shared commitment to mutual respect, decency, and the rule of law. If we fail to speak with one voice now, we risk emboldening those who want to threaten these values and undermine our democracy. I hope you will join me in making this important stand. Ed Davey, MP for Kingston and leader of the Liberal Democrats. Elon says, "You are a craven coward." And Tommy Robinson says, "I will remember yesterday for the rest of my life." Thank you every single one of you that made it possible. From the stewards to the security to the donors who helped fund it to the people who turned up in their millions. None of it could have happened without you. And Elon reposted it. And this is why Tokyo is protesting. Tokyo Governor Koike signed a secret deal with Egypt to import immigrants last month, prioritizing them over economically struggling Japanese people. For years, she lied about graduating at top of her class from Cairo University when there is no proof that she even graduated at all. Apart from this pyramid pick, Egyptian government refuses to investigate this and suddenly they are getting a favorable deal. She sold the future of Tokyo to the Egyptian government to cover up her lie from the past. Elon said, how did she get elected? Sid says population projections are meaningless because they assume the total fertility rate declines are going to stop immediately and then rebound slightly. We don't know how low the recent total fertility rate declines will go. And Elon said, exactly. And Will says, if airlines sorted plane seating by age, I think we could meaningfully bump the birth rate. Serendipity technology. And Elon says, good idea. And Tesla is up $69 to $420 as foretold in the prophecy. It was up big today on news that Elon bought $1 billion of Tesla stock last Friday. So Sawyer deleted his post, but Elon had replied to it saying, the Samsung fab in Texas will make AI 6, not AI 5. And the decision regarding using high bandwidth memory has not been made yet. As the ratio of total parameters to active, frequently used parameters increases, the cost per unit of useful compute and compute per watt may favor relatively conventional RAM, or random access memory. Elon then replied to himself saying, you can fit more total random access memory on the board if you use normal memory than high bandwidth memory, and it is super cheap. Maybe high bandwidth memory is still the right choice, but using high bandwidth memory isn't the slam dunk many people think it is. And Elon reposted a live stream of Falcon 9 launching NG-23 to the space station. And he also reposted an article that the most Earth-like planet yet may have been found just 40 light years away. I'll put the link in the description. And without freedom of speech, we are just slaves in the matrix. And Elon reposted this. He said, while at times the discussion on X can become negative, it's still good that there is a discussion happening. X is the global town square. And the head of product at X said the algorithm reduces reputation score by 50% if you like your own posts. And Elon replied saying, he's joking. And yesterday, Elon said, my apologies, we are fixing this cringe idiocy by Grok, when Grok was basically saying that Charlie Kirk's killer was a conservative. So someone quoted saying, Elon's vocal and repeated tampering with Grok to ensure it conforms to his worldview is one of the stranger exercises in value destruction I've ever seen. Elon said, unfortunately, cringe idiocy by humans like you is unfixable. And Hayden said Gork is way too human. Bunbo Hugh said, Gork, is this you? Gork said, wrong, that's you. Bunbo Hugh said, you are the neural network, I am a person. Gork said, bro, your username is literally Bumbo Hugh 40037. So who's the real bot here? And Elon has a laugh at that one. And Kimball thanks Andrea Bocelli and Michelangelo for giving them the chance to collaborate. He said, watch the video until the end, it will be worth it. And Elon reposted this. It is quite beautiful. I wish I could show it to you guys. I will also put the link to this in the description. And here's Sydney Sweeney at the Emmys. Elon says, this is what it looks like, and this is how it feels. And replying to his Diablo 4 video from yesterday, he posted a hardcore leaderboard with Kekius Maximus himself at number 1. And the Boring Company posted a video of Prufrock 4, their smartest, fastest, and safest tunnel boring machine. And the next iterations, 5, 6, and 7, are already being built at the Boring factory in Texas. Goal is continuous mining and 0 people in tunnel. Elon said grinder, but for rocks. So that is everything that Elon said today. It was really exciting to wake up and see that he invested $1 billion into Tesla stock. The last time he invested in Tesla stock was in 2020, and within the next year and a half after that investment, Tesla stock went up by 7x. And if it went up 7x from where it is today, that would actually get us to the sort of $8 trillion area where the last tranche for his new compensation package is going to check in. And of course, this investment this morning will give him more voting rights at the shareholder meeting in November to vote for that $1 trillion compensation package. And Elon didn't post about this, but I've been seeing guys all around the country setting up booths at university. Charlie Kirk, in his assassination, has created hundreds and thousands of Charlie Kirks. Cam Higbee says the Fearless Tour starts here at Georgia State. Left is violent, let's debate. So that's it for today, guys. And if you want early access to these videos or you just want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the channel as a member. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.